Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we got a nice 8-game NBA slate for you. Before I get started, can you guys smash that like and subscribe button? So this slate is pretty interesting. We do have a lot of injury tags, lots of questionable tags on this one, so it's going to be irritating because it's going to be pretty late in the and close to the slate before we get all this injury news. But let's go and get in the injury slate for you. So for the Cavs, Mitchell, Mobley, Struss, and Wade are out. That does open up a lot of value, and we already know that those guys are out, and they're in an up-tempo game against the Pacers, so that definitely gives you some potential options there. And they seem like they're fairly priced for the most part. For the Pacers, Mathurin and McDermott are out. Obviously, this is not a great matchup for Indiana. As Cavs do slow the game down, but this is still a higher scoring game on the slate than most. And Indiana is favored to win. I do think there's a couple guys that are worth taking a look at, but they definitely carry some risk. For the Pistons, Thompson is doubtful and Grimes is questionable. They're facing Boston today, and they're pretty avoidable overall. For the Celtics, Tatum is questionable. Holiday, Hauser, and Porzingis are doubtful, and Horford is out. Doesn't look like Hauser is going to get to recap his big game, but I do expect there are going to be some good options from the Celtics today, especially if those guys are confirmed out. And then Tatum, whether he's questionable, whether he plays or not, there's going to be some other guys available that are going to have good opportunities. And if Tatum plays, he'll also have a great opportunity. For the Heat, Butler is questionable. Hero, Love, and Richardson is out. Normally, I do like uh, tagging up some of the Miami players with these guys out, but they do have a tougher match against Philly today, and this is one of the slowest scoring games on the slate, so it's going to be hard to take a lot from it. From the 76ers, Harris is questionable, and Embiid, Melton, and Covington are out. Obviously, if Harris were to miss, that would give a little bit of a boost to Oubre. However, if that doesn't happen, then I think this team's relatively avoidable today in a tough match against Miami. Looking at the Trailblazers, Thibault is questionable, Grant is doubtful, and Brogdon, Sharp, and Williams are out. Portland does have some interesting options today against the Bulls. Uh, and this game will probably be pretty close. And I do think that there's some guys for the Trailblazers like Banton who has some potential today, but I'll get into that more later. Looking at the Bulls, Caruso is questionable, White is doubtful, and Levine and Williams are out. Assuming these guards are questionable or out, this is going to give some upside to some other players for the Bulls team, and obviously, DeRozan and Dusanmu have some utility today. Looking at the Timberwolves, Gobert, Kyle Anderson, and Morris are questionable, and Towns is out. If Gobert was to play, he would definitely get some upside. There are going to be some options available if those guys get rolled out, but we'll have to wait and see on that. For the Jazz, Markkanen is questionable, and Clarkson is out. Um, Not a whole lot to care too much about from the Jazz today, as this is not an ideal matchup for them. Looking at the Knicks, OG Anunoby is questionable, and then Randall and Robinson are out. The Knicks have basically been in this situation for a while, and they're facing the Warriors. Not too much to like from the New York Knicks today. Maybe Josh Hart a little bit. For the Warriors, there's no injuries, so it looks like they'll be at full strength, but they do have a tough matchup with the Knicks. For the Grizzlies, Morant, Smart, Pippen, Vince Williams, Kennard, Z. Williams, Rose, Jemison, and Stevens are all out. Uh, Once we find out who actually is going to start this game, that will definitely give us some potential today. But this isn't a great situation for them. But Aldama and Jackson are a little bit overpriced. So we'll just have to wait and see what we find out from that. Then we're going to look at the Kings with Lyles out. Now, this is interesting that Lyles actually does give us some potential here. Being out does give some other guys some potential, like Malik Monk and Harrison Barnes. So, but obviously, they definitely carry some risk today. Looking at the Hawks, Bogdanovich is questionable. Young, Bay, and Okongwu are out. Obviously, if Bogdanovich were to play, he would have some utility today against the Lakers. But guys seem a little bit pricey on the Hawks today, so to keep that in mind. And then for the Lakers, LeBron and Davis are questionable. Wood, Vanderbilt, Reddish, and Vincent are out. If LeBron and Davis or one of them misses, then that's going to open up some value, especially with the guards from the Lakers like um, Russell and Reeves. So we'll have to wait and see what that looks like. But I could definitely see LeBron and Davis both taking the day off, considering the fact that they both battled some injuries lately. So with that said, let's get into our top plays here. So we have Sabonis and Banton. We'll start with Sabonis here. He has had some big games lately. This matchup bodes well for him as well against Memphis. He also had some pretty monster games against Memphis already this season. He's averaged 61 fantasy points a game against them. This game's also a home game for the Kings, and he has played better there. And with Lyles out, his usage actually goes up even a little bit more. I expect him to get a lot of rebounds in this game. If he can get over 20 points, he'll pay off relatively easily. Looking at Banton here for Portland. Now he's not my typical type of core play, but he started 7 of the past 8 games, and all but one he's played over 30 minutes and scored in the 28 to 52 fantasy point range. He looks like a solid option with all the injuries, and his price is right there at the 28 points necessary. So I think he is very capable of a solid game here. And if we just look at his games, he's had 46 in the last game, 28. 21 was the one game he started but didn't play as many minutes, and then this Boston game he didn't start that game either, so do keep that in mind. But this is a game where he should have a lot of opportunity to have big games, so he's definitely worth a look. Then we're going to start looking at other options. So Jason Tatum is questionable, but he looks like he's more likely to play today. I do think he will play, and if that's the case, he's got a lot of upside here. As a lot of other guys are doubtful for this team, and he's going to have all the usage he can handle. So we do want to make sure he plays, but he's definitely a good option. Looking at Fox for Sacramento, he's played very well throughout the season. He has some nice upside in this matchup. He's also played well against Memphis this season for the most part, but he does have a little bit lower floor than I like with the price, but his price is still pretty decent. He does have that 50 fantasy point upside, especially at home. Looking at Jarrett Allen for the Cavs with the injuries here, he's going to have more usage. He hasn't played particularly great lately, but he has had a little bit, Mobley had been playing and stuff like that, so he definitely has more potential in this one with those guys out. He does feel like a contrarian play today, though, so he's not like a must-play or core play. Looking at Derek White here for Boston, he is probable. At least that's what it was showing me earlier. So we'll have to wait and see what he what the Celtics actually run out there for the starters. But if White plays, he'll definitely be somebody that's going to have a lot of upside, especially if a lot of guys are ruled out there. Karis LeVert is very interesting for Cleveland. He's got a nice boost whenever Mitchell misses, and he's going to have that opportunity today. His price has come up some, but he's definitely a viable option on the slate. AU has played very well for Chicago this season when he's been given the opportunity. He's been really consistent lately. His price has come up a lot, so that is making him no longer a must-play type of candidate, but he definitely has some usage and upside potential here, especially if other guys get rolled out as well. Then we're going to get in some cheaper options here with Malik Monk. Now, Monk has been streaky throughout the season, but he does have high upside in certain types of situations, and this is a pretty good one, especially with Lyles out. His minutes will be a little bit more consistent in that situation, but I do think he does carry a high ceiling and a low floor, so he's a little bit of a contrarian play today. Then we'll look at Sam Merrill for for Cleveland. Now he's been starting a few games. He's played 20 plus minutes in the last 4 games, and that gives him some upside here. He does need to, get some shots and assists and things to pay off here, but he's capable of that, though he does have an extremely low floor, so he's kind of a Hail Mary play at this point. Hopefully we'll get more information about injuries, and that could open him up a little bit more. Harrison Barnes also interesting today. With Lyles out, the last 3 games, he's been over 30 fantasy points, which is pretty impressive for him. He's been inconsistent throughout the season, but his minutes have been up and down, but right now he's playing over 30 minutes a game. He's got a plus matchup against Memphis, and he's got a lot of upside here, and he's nice and cheap, so he's definitely somebody that I consider to be in core play, but he's very close. But I do think that his low floor just keeps him from being possible as a core play. Also consider today Nikola Vucevic, Miles Turner, and anybody who starts for Boston, as those guys are going to have some utilities. Make sure to check out Discord and the links in the description below, because I will try to update injuries throughout the day and give you my core plays before the slate locks tonight there. So if you want to see that, then make sure to head over there. Thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below, and have a nice day, guys. Also, a super shout out to all the members on YouTube. I really do appreciate you guys, so thanks a lot, and have a nice day, guys.